Hello, this is Mrs. Taylor, and I'm going to walk you through how to solve an equation using difference of squares. So this method only works when you have an equation where you have a binomial, which means two terms, 1, 2, and it's subtraction, it's difference, so you have to have the minus sign, and both terms are perfect squares, which means if I took the square root, I'd get a whole number. N squared, x squared, if it's a variable squared, it's a perfect square. And then 81, you know the square root of 81 is 9. So I have a perfect candidate for difference of squares. And what we learn when we learn about factoring is all you have to do is create two sets of parentheses for your two binomials, and you take the square root of each term. So the square root of n squared is n. You'd place that first because that's the first term up here. And you take the square root of the next term, which is 81. Square root of 81 is 9. And then once you've done that, all you have to do is put a plus minus. And if I FOILed this out, I would see that I get n squared minus 81 because the middle terms, when you have negative 9n plus 9n, would cancel. And so now I complete my solution by taking each factor, setting it equal to 0, and solving. So n equals negative 9, and n equals 9. And I can check those mentally because if I square negative 9, I get 81. 81 minus 81 is 0. If I square positive 9, I get 81. 81 minus 81 is 0. So it works. I know my solutions are correct. Now, sometimes it may be a little more difficult to spot that it's a difference of squares. So, for example, if I had 4x squared minus 9, 4 is a perfect square, x squared is a perfect square, 9 is a perfect square. It's subtraction, it's two terms, so it's difference of squares. So just because there's a number in front of the squared term doesn't change my process. I still create my two sets of parentheses, take the square root of the first term, the square root of the second term, and then include a plus minus. And so all that would happen here is my answers would be fractions, because if I do 2x plus 3 equals 0, subtract 3, you get 2x equals negative 3, and then divide by 2, x would equal negative 3 over 2. So it's just a fraction, nothing to be nervous about. And then add 3, that would be 2x equals 3, divide by 2, x equals 3 halves. So that would be my solutions for that difference of squares problem. And so that's how you would solve equations using difference of squares.